Let's talk about the fucking XRP community.
Let's talk about
dude.
XRP
ain't going to 589, dude. It ain't going to 589. Get over it, dude. I've been in fucking XRP since 2017. That shit ain't moving.
That's a beautiful example.
Quit being a cult motherfucking follower and be like, well,
thank you for clarifying that.
I'm gonna hold my fucking 10,000 XRP tokens because one day it'll be the currency that is gonna be used by the Bank of International Settlements or by the ECB. Dude, I've been down this fucking the whole rabbit trail. Like, I've been down it. I got famoosed. And then I realized, damn, there's another 8,000 projects that could give me plenty of ROI while the shit still gets settled with the SEC. Yeah. So it's this cultish community that, once again, you're relying on the information that's being fed to you. And misinformation. Why? Because people have agendas. Do you not think these motherfuckers want to pull your money? Did you not see Luna? Did you not see Luna, bro? Do you not fucking learn? Every single bull run, the same bullshit, but with a different cloak. Every single time. Get woke. I was sitting with the head, and hopefully you come out to the next mastermind. I was sitting out, we did the Phuket we did the mastermind in Albania, and I brought out a gentleman by the name of, last name Fulani. And he's the governor of the Central Bank of Albania. He's the one that signs the money that goes out. I asked him 3 questions. The first one, I said, Mr. Fulani, do central banks run the world? And he said, well, I can't answer that, but what I can tell you is what JP Morgan said. JP Morgan said, whoever controls the money controls the world. 1. The second question I asked him was, is Bitcoin money? And he said, well, what are the functions of money? You know, it has to be a value. It has to be a means of exchange. It has to have a store of value, things of this nature. So Bitcoin, by definition, is money. The third question I asked him, because he's a globalist, and I still talk to these people because I'm here to learn. I'm a student mind. I asked them, you know, World Economic Forum, 2030, all these things. Is it going to happen? He said, undoubtedly it's going to happen. And the reason he knows it's going to happen is because we're going to go back into a state of what's called technofeudalism. I'm not going to go into super in-depth details as to what technofeudalism is. We'll talk about it over dinner because it's a little bit of a deeper conversation, things that I think people need to go and explore. But if you think a bunch of retail Wall Street bet investors are going to go against the system that allowed them to get rich in the first place is foolish. These guys control everything, and they're going to continue controlling everything because you're not disciplined enough to get your act together to compete. What, you think you're going to compete with these guys that are quants that are running hedge funds worth billions of dollars by reading 2 books a year? By hanging out with scrubs all day? Dude, you're so far behind. People can't even comprehend how weak they truly are. So my recommendation for people is understand where things are going, understand where the trends are moving, and position yourself in a way where you, as part of the system, because you are a part of the system, like you are part of the problem, you're part of the virus, just as much as everybody else is part of the virus. You need to position yourself in a way that you can succeed and you can minimize your risk. So what does this mean? Over the next coming years, there's going to be a couple major sectors that are going to be extremely popular. Sector number 1, anything that has to do with green renewable energy, massive sector, right? So me understanding this, I'm going to start looking for projects, companies that are going to position myself, right, to make. Dude, these guys still have to pull their money out of the markets. They still have to be able to play these games. So what I'm doing is I'm figuring out where are these guys going, and how can I take a little nibble? I'm not here to fight. We said it before, right? If this idea that you died, nothing matters in this life, then why am I going to be focused all my attention on trying to disrupt the machine? Yeah. Dude, like what sort of God complex do you have that you think that you're going to disrupt the machine? You're a cog in the machine, you don't even know. But when you have the humility to recognize you're a cog in the machine, you have to figure out, well, how do I capitalize and how can I make sure that the people around me don't get fucked, don't get finessed by the system, don't get famoosed, because so many people are. And if you have the ability to capitalize on that and to do good with the resources that you gain from that, I think that that's a win.
I think one thing that's really shined out for crypto is the idea of community, right? Like we talked about religion.
That's
earlier.
massive, bro. Yeah.
And I think that's like the biggest like turning point for crypto people was like the idea of like we belong together because we put our money where our mouth is, right? We all bought into this coin, we all bought into this founder, we all bought into this NFT. So it's like now governments are trying to, not trying, governments don't have that system within them, right? I think like the thing with the government is like there's a lot of dissection And one thing I did notice is minorities are very loud, and they've gotten louder with crypto now. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think the smallest dog usually barks the loudest, and the people that are focused on doing aren't out here tweeting all day. The oil moguls, the guys that are out here doing $100 billion deals with countries to say we're going to sell you food supplies and things like that. They're not out here tweeting. They're out here moving things at a big level. Dude, just Google this, guys. Google the top 100 privately owned companies that you've never heard of. These are companies doing $100, $200, $300 billion of revenue a year. They're not publicly listed. You don't know who the fuck the owners are. These companies have been around for 100, 200, 300 years. They run the fucking game. They run the world. So community is phenomenal. It's great, but it's not enough, right? Like this idea of being surrounded by a community is not good enough. You need to intentionally plant yourself in communities where you're the smallest fish, right? Where you can actually excel, where you're not the guy that's like, oh, gotta go back on Discord, gotta go babysit these motherfuckers. Like that doesn't work. And for the other side of the coin, for those investors, gamblers that are on the other side of the coin or the other side of the table, if you're out here assuming that somebody's gonna work day and night to multiply your investment, and that's what you're gambling on, you're a fucking fool. Because you have just set your future and destiny on the skill set and the resources of another person. And there's no more dangerous place to be than in the hands of another incompetent person. And 95% of the people that launched NFT projects, crypto projects, they're guys that are just trying to figure it out. They're innovating, but with innovation comes a lot of failure. And if you're going to position yourself in a situation where you're, once again, relying on another person, relying on the system, relying on this community, how are you supposed to get forward? It's impossible to do so. So I see people doing the exact same thing that they were doing in Web 2.0. They're doing it in Web 3. So it's like Nate said, people want uphill results. They want to win the uphill battle with downhill work ethic, downhill systems, downhill mentality, and it doesn't work that way.